One of my favorite quotes from the now sainted John Henry Newman is, "To live is to change, and to be perfect is to have changed often." To live is to change, and to be perfect is to have changed often. Anytime we encounter God, anytime we hear the voice of the Lord calling us, it is an opportunity to change, to become more the people that God has made us to be. And we hear in our first reading today from the prophet Malachi, who is lamenting the fact that the chosen people of God, some of the chosen people, not the Gentiles, not the outsiders, but some of the chosen people of God are turning away. They're not following and conforming themselves to the life of God. And so Malachi is calling them back to repentance. We hear it in St. Paul, who's saying, some of you are just acting like you're busy, but you're not really busy. You're acting like something is happening in your life, but nothing is really happening. He's calling people to embrace the change that God is inviting them to. And it's true for all of us. However we meet God, wherever we are in our relationship with God, He's always moving us farther, always inviting us to change. And as we arrive at this 33rd Sunday of Ordinary Time, just 2 weeks left in this church liturgical year before we begin again with the season of Advent, I've been thinking about the change that is present here in our parish. What are the signs that we're moving and responding to God's presence? And there are a few things that I just want to highlight this morning. The first is I've noticed an increase in people coming for the sacrament of reconciliation. Don't worry, I'm not going to tell you what kind of things I'm hearing in the sacrament of reconciliation, but I have noticed more people taking advantage of the sacrament, more people desiring this change in their life. Because the fact is that sin keeps us where we are. I suspect, maybe I'm just projecting onto you, but if I were to create a list of the sins that I commit month by month, I suspect that list would not change too much. The sins that I fall into tend to be the same sins that I fall into over and over again. Frankly, because the devil is not very creative. He preys on our weaknesses, and our weaknesses tend to stay the same, and so we have a tendency to fall into the same things. But the fact that more people are seeking reconciliation tells me that there's a desire to move beyond them. There's a desire to embrace the new thing that God might be offering to them so that we can together take that step to change our hearts and to become more the people that God has made us to be. The second thing I've noticed is a greater desire in the hearts of our young people to be helped in their relationship with God, to really grow in their relationship with God. A greater desire for adults to accompany them and to guide them in their own lives and in their own life of faith. I've seen it in our school children. I've seen it in the children who are homeschooled in our parish. But this greater desire to be called and to be guided in their own relationship with God. Frankly, I don't think we always see that here in church. And I don't think we see it because sometimes the enthusiasm of the child is not matched by the enthusiasm of the parent. And so sometimes our parents aren't bringing their children to Mass to feed them and to feed their souls. It's something certainly we ought to pray for. But the more important thing for us is to pay attention to that desire in the hearts of our young people. Not just because they're the next generation and whatever our parish will be left in their hands. Fine, that's true. But we need to follow the enthusiasm of our young people for our sake. Because of those of us who are, old and crusty need to be reminded that there is a newness in our faith. There is a new life that is ready to be embraced, something new that God is doing that we all ought to be following. And so it's beautiful to watch that in the hearts of our young people. The last thing that I'll just acknowledge this morning is I've witnessed a greater tenderness in our parish. More people reaching out to others. More people coming to me saying, can you please pray for so-and-so? Or letting me know that people are struggling in different ways, asking me to pray for them, but also helping others to stay connected so that if they're sick or in difficulty, that they know that they're not alone. I've noticed it for myself that a number of people have kind of encouraged me and assured me of their prayers. Maybe it's because I look tired and worn down, but I'll take it anyway. It doesn't matter. But it's beautiful to see this tenderness, this real desire to care for one another. These are the ways that I've seen the change happening, and maybe you've seen other things. But there's one thing that I've noticed that I think we can all be challenged to do more, and that is to witness. To bear witness to what's happening to us. To bear witness to how Christ is moving in our lives, how He's making Himself known to us. And frankly, we don't do that well as Catholics. We kind of think, well, that's not our thing. That's somebody else's thing to do. But that wasn't always the case. We're called as Catholics to bear witness to the presence of Christ in our world because our community needs it. And because we need to express it. We need to share what it is that's been happening to us so that it becomes more ours. Because we share things that we're passionate about. And so we need to recognize this call of God to reach out and to proclaim with boldness what it is that has been given to us. This change is necessary if we are to be the people that God is calling us to be. A few years ago, we used to pray at every Mass the stewardship prayer. Although it wasn't really a prayer, it was more kind of a statement of dedication in terms of who we want to be as a parish. And I just want to read those words again. Maybe you'll remember hearing them. But more than anything, as a reminder that if we want our parish to be a particular way, then we have to offer ourselves in service to our brothers and sisters. My parish is composed of people like me. I help make it what it is. It will be friendly if I am. It will grow in holiness if I do. Its pews will be filled if I help fill them. It will do great work if I work. It will be prayerful if I pray. It will make generous gifts to many causes if I am a generous giver. It will bring others into worship if I invite and bring them. It will be a parish of loyalty and love, of fearlessness and faith, of compassion, charity, and mercy if I, who make it what it is, am filled with these same things. Therefore, with the help of God, I now dedicate myself to the task of being all the things that I want my parish to be. May it be so for us. And may God bring to completion the good work that He has begun in us.